Going live. You're live.
All right, folks, we are live on YouTube.
Miss Ada said, wait a minute.
That includes you, Miss Ada. What are you doing? Watch out, everybody's got. There's a microphone on that camera right there. What are you doing? Oh, you're looking for a house? Steve, could you help us out here?
She said I couldn't help her.
All righty, come on, Miss Ada. You can stick around and do this afterwards.
Y'all ain't gonna have no what you call me.
But we will, but we can still let you. Yeah. You know, we got the police back there. I don't want to have to.
I don't care.
I get Steve to bring you the public comment sheet.
Oh, Steve, you bring us the public comment up here? There's a sheet up there. Cool. Thank you, sir. All righty, I'd like to call the meeting to order. All the aldermen are here, including our attorney, Rocky Eaton, and our clerk, Melissa Martin. If we could, I'd like to have Alderman Mike Lott lead us in the prayer and the pledge.
Father God, I thank you for your love for each and every one of us. You love everyone in this room. And Lord, all those in this room, I pray tonight will have a step closer to you with the knowledge of your love for them. And Lord, I pray that things that we say, things that we do as a board of aldermen tonight, as city leaders, will be pleasing to you. And Lord, help us to realize that people are watching us all the time. And Lord, help us realize that you're watching us all the time, so that the things that we say and the things that we do, make it mindful to us that we will be doing those things and saying those things that please you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You've got the work session.
Mhm.
All right, is there a motion to adopt the agenda with the included work session at the end? Is there a second? All in favor? Hold on a second, kid. Try this one. Yeah, now we're cooking. All right, is there a motion to adopt the consent agendas with number 1, 2, 3, and 4? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That does get me kind of messed up, Steve. All righty, public comment. Ms. Heidelberg, come on up here. How you doing today?
I'm good.
Hey, what's going on?
Well, I was here previously, some years ago regarding my sewer and garbage bill. The bill had been unpaid and I began to accrue, late fees, like
What's-
penalties.
Ms. Sher, what is your address?
My address is 303 Corinth Road.
Okay.
Okay, so when I came here, I was told that as long as I was paying the bill, give me no late charges. The late charges are actually about as high as my bill. So, this month, the month of May, I noticed late charges on here, for the most, elaborate one was
We'll
$45
try.
penalty and it's $35. But the total late charges are $44.56. My bill is only $63.75. And I can't pay anything in addition to the bill if I'm accumulating.
You're on Barrontown Water, correct?
No.
You're on city water or Barrontown?
City of Pep.
Okay.
Water.
I'm,
Water, are you on?
oh, water, I'm sorry, is Barrontown.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay, we're gonna try to pull your account up real quick. and see what's going on. Was this the first month that happened?
No, well, the first month that I know that the $35, well, the $44.56 in late charges occurred. I didn't get a statement for some reason last month.
Did they have you paying a little extra?
Well, I was told as long as I was paying, I would not incur any late fees. So, La Princess gave me a call in March, and she said that hardship, something was going to terminate. So, and then she said there was an additional fee of $25 that was supposed to be paid. And then I began to tell her, I said, well, I was just told as long as I paid, don't give me any, I shouldn't
So the
have.
board approved another
So I
hardship.
told her, I said, from this day forward, I will make an additional payment, which I have, February, March, April, May. Well, March, April, May. But May is when the additional $44.56 accrued, which makes my total bill $108.31 from $63.75.
So she's been paying.
So I can't pay an additional that's a
She's
bit
been
much.
paying
Bill is
65.
already extremely
But
high.
her hardship was voided
And then I was told that you can't remove any late.
because she's not paying the
charges.
extra $20.
Ma'am, can I get your name again?
Cheryl Heidelberg.
Cheryl Heidelberg.
Mhm.
Yeah, it looks like we had been paying, you needed to pay an extra $20 a month
Mhm.
was what the board approved back in, what was the date?
21.
2021.
Mhm.
Your house is just across from Nichols on Cross Street on the left. hand side.
And she was just paying the 65.
Okay.
And she helped me out.
I think,
They're looking at it right now.
I-
giving
And I
the
do have
details,
receipts showing from my conversation with La Prensa that I
Mhm.
have been paying.
yeah, see, we were paying the minimum. It looked like the board approved in 2021 for you to pay an extra, am I reading that right?
20.
$20 a month. And then at some point, I think you went back to just paying the
$65.
minimum on
Yeah,
that. I
the
think is
65.
what probably triggered her to terminate the hardship.
Okay.
So have you paid extra lately?
Oh, yeah.
Well, these last two payments, it looks
Last
like.
3. Well, actually
Well,
in May, since the payment was $108.31, I
Okay.
couldn't pay over that.
Yeah,
So I
she paid.
paid. 'Cause
She's
So I guess it would be up to the
Let me
board to
see.
say if they wanted to continue it on.
So am I supposed to be paying 20 over? I'm told if as long as I'm paying, I should not accrue a fee. So if I'm paying, that means if I pay my regular bill, I shouldn't accrue a fee. So I just need to know what I need to be doing.
And the deal is, you'll have to pay back the amount that you technically owe. And so how we're setting it up is that we set up
Where are
this
you
hardship.
going?
I'm
so
trying to
you
get
pay
to the
your
most
base
recent.
rate, and then that little bit of extra.
See, I don't
without
know
any
why.
interest-
Oh, because
interest
I guess she voided the
But there's
hardship,
so
so it
much
started.
late fees that it's just
Applying
not
to
as
the-
much as
That's why we're trying to get
January.
rid of all the interest and late fees and stuff like that, but you still have to pay that extra $20.
But last time I was here, I was told that you couldn't take off the late
That's
fees.
right.
So
We-
they're
that's right.
still
We
on
can't.
here.
That we can't, but what he means is he's trying to
February.
prevent new late fees from
Okay.
being incurred.
We can't.
So
take away
because
the
she's not on the
Based on the fact that
hardship,
you've
her
been
payments
paying.
are applying to her.
So if you give them a second, I think they may can work something.
Yeah,
out
the
with
problem
you.
would be is that without the hardship in place, it's going to ask you for the total amount due,
Okay.
or then it would cut you off, so to speak. So I guess the question before the board would be if they want to establish that now with a clear understanding that it's what, 65? 63.
Whatever, what is,
The bill is
$63.75.
And
Yes,
then we're asking for 20.
And $20 on top of
I
that.
can do that.
Well, then I'll make a motion that,
hey, hold up. Let me get back to my other.
You understand we're not being mean. It's a
No, I
It's
don't.
a very time wouldn't even give them go that
It's
far.
really difficult though, because the bill is like,
I really say a number. Everybody's on the left.
so I can't get ahead because it's
we
already.
get
For the current,
But I'll do
the
what I need to do.
current month plus,
motion for, base pay per month plus $20 until the fees.
See,
Current
well, what he's trying to
charges.
say is so that
plus,
if our rates go up, a monthly
Yeah.
rate go up, she still has to pay that new monthly rate
Plus
the
$20.
So that's all he's trying to get her to word it right.
Mhm.
I think we're about there.
So
okay.
Wait for
previous
them.
late fees, I can hang it up on those.
Well, the previous late fees,
No.
you've incurred them, and I'm talking about the ones from years ago. You still owe those, but these from the last 2-3 months is what I think she's trying to get rid of.
Okay.
Do you want me to do the ones from La Princess? The reason she's been getting late fees the last 3 months is because La Princess voided the hardship. So when she did come in and pay, it applied to her old charges instead of her current charges. So she continues to get a late fee on the current charge.
I would just say because of the confusion between the old.
So you
hardship
want me
and
to
the-
waive
I
how many
would-
months?
Would you,
We voided it in February.
just the late fees since then.
Yeah, I would say since the confusion in February, we'll say that this is a new hardship.
And we want to adjust those late fees.
Right.
That's
All
what we're
the
legally
late
allowed.
fees.
I think that they are because of this
Late
confusion.
fees.
Okay.
Not
And La
normally.
Princess has your phone number, right?
The previous agreement.
That's right.
Since
It was an ambiguity that was created by
February.
prior agreement and expiration of that and just not good communication.
For the most part, whenever it comes to finances and things like that, our hands are very, very tied by the state. So there's only so much we can do. We definitely can't forget anything past
The old stuff.
everything that was set up beforehand. But now,
That's
instead of confusion,
No, La Princess is
we're
off the
thinking
rest
that
of
we
the
can
week.
actually forgive from
I'll
February
just have to
onward.
adjust it. And
But
then
it's still going to be that base rate plus the $20. So
I understand.
I'm
Could you please
assuming that
follow?
the total amount will probably be.
That'll sound better when I say that.
or she can call me because I may forget.
The blessing is you're able to work with the city.
Yeah.
Not very with other private entities. The curse is you're working with the city, we play by state rules.
Do we need an additional motion?
We need no, we need a second. I got the motion to put her on a hardship for the current charges plus $20 and to adjust late fees and penalties accrued since February of 24.
All in favor? If you would, contact Melissa tomorrow after lunch and should have it all straightened out.
Okay.
Awesome. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Mom.
Appreciate
But you'll have to ask for me because La Princess is on vacation the rest of the week.
Okay, thank you.
And Mayor, I just appreciate, like I said, we talked about this. She came in and talked to us about misunderstanding. This was not somebody who had was on the.
That's avoiding us.
Was on the program, was on a program, stopped the program for years.
Yeah.
And then they come back and ask us to put it back on
The hardship, right.
The hardship, because hardship is usually only one time.
Mhm.
And then once you fall off the wagon, that literally, what, the water wagon. And so I appreciate that's the example, so coming in and say, hey, here's miscommunication. So that's what we're looking for. I appreciate that. But again, if you fall off the water wagon,
Water wagon.
it's not a carte blanche, yeah, we automatically put that, approve it, so.
Thank you, Mr.
Good deal. Appreciate y'all. Hey, Miss Barbara, come on up here.
All right. First of all, I just wanted to ask how to come.
I don't unless Steve knows some update. We're actually working a water leak right now that's pretty bad. We got to be close because we got our other tank online.
Yes, we got it all approved. We're waiting on contracts. All taken care of.
I think last time Miss Barbara came in, the update was we're just now putting a tank back online that had been out to be painted. So we were waiting till that came back on to trigger the other people. So now I guess we're trying to get on their calendar.
That's right. We're trying to get it.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
And I know you had said 2 weeks, so that's why I'm back in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So you know how that goes. Second thing is I wanted to introduce you, also my son Jonathan Malden, and he is here with me to talk again about my plans for the house for 111 West Cherry. And Jonathan?
Yeah.
are you here?
Just. we wanted
Hey,
to-
John.
Yes. We just wanted to tee up something, real quick. The question that we have is really around, establishing at what point, architectural plans are required, by the city. We're trying to, work, with the building department, to get power, reestablished to the house. And unfortunately, we've apparently fallen in some bit of a gray area here. So just to recap, we have a permit for the construction that we're doing on the house. This was a house that was condemned, had a lot of issues, was basically abandoned for a couple of years. And so we've gone in just as we have with our other approximately 25 houses here in Petal, to go in and renovate it nicely with, licensed electricians, licensed plumbers, general contractors who were insured and did the roof over there. And essentially we're just trying to get through the project. And just recently, the concern has been that the project would need full architectural plans in order to move forward. So let me talk you through like a typical project, and just as an overview, I work for a company as the asset manager. We have about 22,000 sites around the country in about 30 states. And so I'm very, very familiar with approvals and processes. The typical way that a lot of towns handle their processes and when you need plans is they say, okay, above a certain number of square feet being renovated or added, then you need to have full plans for the whole house. Or the way to work around it is either dollars, right? And say, okay, more than X number of dollars spent on the project, you'll need to go through a review. Or it can be very tailored and say, okay, if you put in, let's say, a 220 volt plug in a house, this is what we need to put in a 220 volt plug, right? And our confusion here in the city is as follows. We feel that the goalposts have been moved by the inspector, and we have a letter from him today, Monday, that says that the inspector, at the inspector discretion, can require full plans as he sees fit. Now, what is our issue with full plans? So this is what you can draw basically in an inexpensive, cost-effective way, right? If I need to go and get full plans, I can spend up to 2 months and $4,000 approximately to go get a whole house redrawn. And I just feel that given the small project size of this house, that spending 25% of my budget on just plans is not commensurate with the difficulty of the project, and also the fact that there are not walls being moved around in that house. So I'm not really sure what the public would benefit from having that requirement. And secondly, as we all know, and of course, I've been in Petal, grew up here. We've seen a lot of things get built outside of the city limits. We've seen a lot of expansion outside of the city limits, and the requirements to have, $4,000 plans to do things like change out a window or move a washing machine from one wall to another wall that already has plumbing, right? That level of requirement is very likely to force people to be outside of the city limits. And as we all know, a lot of the housing that's here in the core of Petal is from the 30s, 40s, and 50s. I can tell you from a professional standpoint, a lot of it needs upgrading, especially around electrical systems. We still have a lot of fuse panels around. We still have a lot of lead plumbing. We still have a lot of cast iron plumbing that needs to get replaced. And so what we're requesting is, and then I'll be happy to, if you're amenable to it, to help draft some type of ordinance to help establish those minimums, because we do think that it's at a certain point very important for everything to be done, quote, by the book with an architect, and we're totally supportive of all that. We just think that there has to be that threshold that's well understood so that people understand, okay, if I add this many more square feet to my house, I need to go get an architect. If I change these things, then we need to go get an architect, and totally happy with that. I just think the standards are being brought down to a level that is too.
I'm just taking some notes here.
Sure.
Who exactly told you needed architectural plans?
So I have two documents from the city here. This was issued by the building department. It doesn't say specifically if it was Bill who wrote it or if it was Amy, but one of them I got.
And did Bill Rogers? Does he cite specifically why they're needed at all? Does he just say?
He said any project that requires removing, adding, or moving walls or doors is considered a remodel, but we did none of those, and we're being put into the category of a full remodel. And I will encourage you, even moving doors, I would be very, very careful about applying that to most doors in a house. Right. So in other words, if you move a door down the same wall, I would strongly suggest that is not, it's not a criteria. So for example, if that door moved over 3 feet, I mean, I don't know if that would be,
Depends on the wall.
Yeah, well, exactly.
It's all about load bearing, and
Exactly.
That's what the architecture is, because people, laymen can't walk in and say, well, we can move that 3 feet, and we think it'll be fine, but it's load bearing, that's all we have an expert come out. At his discretion.
That's fine with us as well. But my point here, it's about the plans burden, right? If you want to come and inspect a job, that's what we're encouraging. We've not been cited, by the way, in all of these renovations. We have not been cited once for code violation or improper work practice or any of that sort of thing, right? So the inspecting the work is very different from having the plans, right? I just want to differentiate those two ideas because it's like, yeah, sure. If you say I need to have an inspector before I move the door, sure, no problem. Should I have to redraw the house for $4,000 just because I will move that door from one place to the other? That's where I kind of don't understand the logic.
Well, you did say something that caught my attention. You mentioned that the house had been both condemned and empty for a number of years.
That's correct.
And the ordinance, our ordinance currently states that if it's been empty for 12 months, that it needs to be brought up to code. Now, I don't know exactly precisely where the plans and code coexist. I don't know if that part is necessary. Now, I know if there's any structural alterations that
Correct, and we agree with
very
that.
clear that
Yes.
the plans need to be made. And I do believe that there's electrical falls into that same category. If we're changing electrical work, you're supposed to make plans before work is started.
Agreed. And we were granted the permit for the electrical work that we were doing because the only thing that we changed was the fact that some of the wiring, very little of it was still the 2-wire without the ground. And that was changed out for 3-wire. But I'm just saying in most jurisdictions, that doesn't fall within let's redraw the house.
Well,
But again, we
one
were granted
change
the permit.
is something that's more appropriate to code. It is itself.
So basically, when we took out that 14-2 wire, we put 12-2 back through the same hole, through the same everything to an outlet. It's the wire that's now required for an outlet.
Yes.
You can still use 12-2 for lights, but we don't do that either. We go ahead and change it all out. So we have changed out the wires, but we're just pulling them through the same holes.
And so as far as you know right now, you need architectural plans from a licensed architect. You're not sure why, but you have a letter saying that they're required.
That's correct.
And so we're suggesting to the city again, for purposes of trying to maintain its core here and encourage renovations that are reasonable and to your point, not dangerous, that certain thresholds be established so that when we go and buy our next house, that we're very clear what the rules will be. And we're not in a sort of situation where we've been granted a permit, but we're not allowed to connect to power because of drawings, not because of the work done, because of the drawings.
I have a couple questions. Is it in a flood zone?
It's West
Yes.
Sharon.
Are you? I thought so. It's right. I think it stops at the second there. Are you spending more than 50% of its appraised value for construction?
That is one thing that maybe could be clarified here. We are not in this case either assessed or appraised value, by the way, but just letting you know that is sometimes an issue in some jurisdictions about whether you use appraised or you use assessed. And you have to be careful with assessed because sometimes those are.
Our ordinance specifically says value of the structure minus the value of it. And so sometimes a lot of people don't understand that. So I think it's a simple concept.
But I think appraised or assessed though, which one do you have?
Usually you would look for, I believe the phrase is cash value. And
Which is
that's-
appraised, right?
Which is in the, yeah.
No, I'm just saying in Forest County, we've seen assessments be quite variable, even on the same street, so.
Do that with appraisals as well, but you have an assessor in.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, same, let's see.
No, I'm just saying, we've seen them all over the place. So I just wanted to make sure
Yeah.
that we understood it clearly. Because again, we're gonna buy other houses, we're gonna renovate more in Pell. I have my life savings essentially invested here in Pell. Okay, so just to be very clear, I've worked internationally for a number of years. I brought back money to the city. This is where I've decided to invest money because I think that in the long run, the cities with the good school districts and the cities with the good demographics are gonna win. I can't afford to play in the Covington market, quite frankly, but it is very expensive. But I think that this is a good place to bring money, but these are the kind of things that make it difficult to sort of evaluate how to move forward, right? Because again, if someone tells me, hey, you want to move a washing machine, $4,000 for an architect, I go, let me look in Dixie or, let me look right outside the city limits, right? So
Now, we'll say this, which stage of the building are y'all in? Y'all done some work over there.
it's complete except for putting in power and putting the sheet. We've left the sheetrock
And
off.
was I hearing, Amy, correct me when I'm wrong, I know enough to be dangerous. I've got a water break on my brain right now. of the 8-inch variety, but, I'll make sure, I know there were some electrical inspection for fear
We
that
did,
the
and-
weather, the walls had already been covered up.
We left the walls uncovered. so
Okay.
to Do the inspection. And then we were told that it was the window that was and again, this is why I'm getting into minimum.
You may,
standards.
Amy, you may be able to add more
Windows,
than,
the washing
me. I haven't
machine,
spoken with Craig about it. Now, I know what has thrown some curveballs to some people is what is it, 2018 International Building Code, where there were some, I'll be honest, close your ears, Marion, some things that really weren't very helpful when it comes to safety, but anyway.
Like, it can be by a design professional, not necessarily an architect.
Yes, and that's $4,000 still. So if I use a licensed architect or if I use a design professional, again, you're still talking about $4,000. In my Louisiana, in my St. Tammany house, we just had to pay $6,500 to do exactly this. And I'm saying, I know what this is.
And I understand, you don't know off the top of your head. You have to keep track of a lot of things, but do you know specifically why they're being told to stay with those plans? What triggered that?
Well, when Craig did the inspection, he said that it was more than what we had originally had on the initial permit. I think it was like $8,000 more. And it didn't list, the window. He said it changed the egress and then moving the laundry room from one side of the house to the other. So that's when.
So there's
triggered
just more changes than you felt you knew about, so you need a clear picture of what's.
Yeah, they were like, we don't know what was there and what's going.
Were we moving a room?
So,
And where the laundry room is today is where we think the laundry room was back in the 60s. That's why it's.
Might be some confusion on our part. I'll try to make a love connection with you guys and see if we can hammer that part of it out to make sure there's not a misunderstanding.
Sure.
And honestly, I know people see this and they think we're tyrants, but I mean, we have a ton of folks that rehab houses here in town. So mostly we never see people. They just go through the process, go to the building department and make it work. So obviously we want to be very considerate when it comes to that. And I'm an old building owner myself. So I some of the code I don't understand as well, but I do know the folks that we farm these duties out to, they have licenses and insurance stuff. So they're very conscious of, I mean, it's not a situation, I wouldn't, but it's not a situation where I can call them up and say, hey, I know these folks, they're, make it happen. I do try to get a better, clearer understanding though. I will make that phone call in heartbeat and say, hey, I think there's some confusion there. Could you reach out to them and see if we can get this thing, moving in the right direction?
No, I appreciate that for our project. I'm
Yeah.
just talking about again going forward. 'Cause
Yeah, no.
We're
Yeah.
interested in the next one, but I gotta have.
Yeah, oh yeah. I
And
understand.
this is nothing against.
Yeah, no.
Or any of that, because I understand it's an interpretation issue, but I'm understanding from the documents we received that they don't feel that the guidelines are clear enough about,
Yeah.
hey, you touch this is what you get into.
Yeah.
Fine.
And it may just be a misunderstanding. So I'll
Thank you
see
so
if we can
much.
get them in touch with you guys. Sometime this week. I know we're going into Memorial Day, which isn't a holiday, folks, and make sure that we're all on the same page.
Did you say it's not a holiday?
Memorial
I did
Day is
mention
not a
that
holiday,
with,
it's Memorial Day.
And I do appreciate when our guys go out and look and.
People gave up their life.
Because
It's still a state.
permits are based on.
It's
the
people
value
gave up
that
their
you put on a
life so
permit
you could
is
go
what the fee is
to the
gonna be, right?
lake.
No, I know
So
that.
when
I appreciate it,
inspectors go out to the
too.
place and they see, well, there's more work being done on the site than the permit is being asked for. There's a disconnect because again, your permit is based, your fee for your permit is based on the value, what you're telling us you're going to do. So, I mean, sometimes it's inherent to come back and update your permits and a lot of units do. So
Yeah.
again, that's one of the things I just want to clarify that permits are based on the amount you put on your list. So when our guys go out there and say, well, you're above, you're doing more, stop work. There's a reason for that.
We get that, and if this were a question of putting more money into the permit, well, obviously, before we start the project, we don't know what we're gonna open up. And therefore, we have to put our money, into the project, but that's what we had understood. We got estimates from the plumber and the electrician for what they would be doing in the house based off of their initial estimates. Now,
Reality sets in what you find.
it all just depends on what you find, right? Sometimes you find stuff and you think like, oh, I'm just gonna do this, and then we open up the bathtub and all of a sudden it's all rotted.
It's been already gone over 15, 3 minutes.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Tony, try to get information, bro. near Highland.
Well, it's South Main, but it affects Highland.
Yeah, Oglesby, probably you too, huh?
Probably.
Yeah, it's Oglesby.
Yeah, because I just got a
All
Oliver
of it.
Lane message. Hopefully not much longer on but we don't know. I think we're trying to hot fix the 8-inch water line. So typically never a good situation. It's an 8-inch, we think, don't we? So you can imagine the amount of water that's pumping in there. I know nobody else see this till tomorrow probably, but a lot of times they turn on the fire hydrants around that area to take pressure off of that area. And so fingers crossed. It was a line we didn't even know was there. That's not unusual in the municipal world, by the way. They didn't keep decent records back in the, they didn't keep the records. It's kind of over here somewhere.
We just did that festival.
So anyway, all righty, Jamie, come on up here.
Hello again. I'll be quick. Ordinance 5.72 defines substantial improvement as any repair, reconstruction, or improvement of structure, the cost of which equals or exceeds 50% of the actual cash value of the structure. That word is important. The most recent appraisal, which was the third appraisal the city allowed the owner of 106 Stevens Street to turn in, clearly states on page 22 of the appraisal that the value of the land only is $26,400. Therefore, the total as-is amount of $85,000 should have had the land value subtracted from it, resulting in the structure being valued at $58,600, meaning the cost estimate of $40,000 turned in by the property owner still does not meet the minimum requirements outlined in our FEMA ordinances. I believe this was also explained by the MEMA representative that attended the meeting on February 20th, that the ordinance says structure and does not include the value of the land. I would also like to publicly and on record request that our city's building inspector complete a formal inspection of the framing of the structure at 106 Stevens Street. I believe it is not being rebuilt to code, and there are major safety concerns related to this structure. Having the owner's hired engineer inspect the property is obviously not sufficient or an ethical practice. In addition, I would like to request that the unpermitted electrical work done by the owner be inspected as well. I do not believe that this work was completed to commercial code standards either. Can that be done?
We have no comment.
Because of litigation?
That's right. Threatened litigation.
Who
We
is
have no comment.
threatening litigation?
I have
and
no-
on what-
We have no further comment.
If I was to threaten litigation, would I be involved in this discussion?
You would be threatening litigation. I
I'm
still have
not
no comment.
threatening litigation, but I would like for my representative, as a resident, I would like for my representative to represent me. I have concerns about this property. I've reached out over and over again to each of you, and no one is answering any of my questions. I am a voting, paying taxes member of this community, and I think I deserve that respect.
Yes, ma'am, we don't have any comment.
Not surprised.
Okay. Proclamations and resolutions. Number 5, request to adopt resolution naming Tony Ducker and Craig Bullock as MML voting delegates per our city clerk. Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? There are no bids and quotes. And when's the paving?
We open those Thursday.
4th or 5th?
No, the 30th,
This
I
one?
think.
Oh, the 30th. Okay. I think around 10 o'clock. I think you're right. We're going to open up the,
So we should have them on the next meeting.
so hopefully that'll work out. We're gonna at least
They
have a
get 'em
discussion
reviewed
at
by
first
then.
meeting in June on our paving. So nothing, no old business, general business. Number 6, request to purchase a table for Funny for Fun's dessert event. That sounds good. On June 6, 2024, benefiting Excel by 5 at a cost of $500. Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And I may or may not be there, so we'll sort everything out whenever.
I think it's a table for 8 or something. So
Yeah, something like that.
you want to go.
7, request to renew maintenance agreement with Mountaineer Computer Systems at a cost of $5,040 annually. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second? All in favor? Okay, number 8, request to accept agreement with Local Impact Analytics. And can you get a motion and a second, and then I'll make a few comments? Okay. As the aldermen have seen, we made that fairly vague, so this is a request or some actions that we will pick in the future, although we've kind of poked at one of the ideas we would like to address. But anyway, he wrote vaguely just so we could start the process and kind of go that route. So at some point we'll sit around and figure out what we want to trigger them on. So any questions or anything from the board? Okay, got a motion, got a second. All in favor? That's weird. I was talking to y'all and not them. Number 9, request to accept the resignation of Todd Wilson in the police department effective May 24th. Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? And the process, chief, to get us a new animal control.
Next Friday.
Okay. Sounds good. Thanks. Number 10, a request to set a hearing date of June 11th, 2024 for property located at 1101 Sunrise Road. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Number 11, request to adjust water services bill to 113 Cedar Street in the amount of $261.60 due to a leak. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Yes. All in favor? Request to adjust water services bill to 1304 Carterville Road in the amount of $252 due to a leak. Is there a second? All in favor? Seminars and travel, number 13, request for Eric Van Fossen to attend fire investigator training at the State Academy. Total cost $760. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Number 14, a request for Bartley Faulkner to attend Fire Officer 1021 at the State Fire Academy on June 17th through the 27th. Total cost $735. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Well, they don't send them in no exciting places, Chief. What's the matter there?
Just gotta send them where we.
Have more exotic locations for these training. This training. But number 15, request for Cody West to attend Hazmat 8.0 online training, cost of $60 on the 29th of July. Is there a second? All in favor? Orders and ordinances, request to adopt an order raising Kelly Finley to TAC officer rate, $17.41 per hour, effective May 29th, per Chief Hyatt. Is there a motion? Is there a second? All in favor? Number 17, request to adopt an order hiring Randy Powell full-time as code enforcer at a rate of $16.83 per hour, pending drug screen and a physical. Motion and a second. All in favor? Also, hey, good to see you.
And his stuff is good, so he can start tomorrow.
Okay,
Or
you've
when,
already
are you
handled
going to
it.
start tomorrow or Thursday?
Sure you want to do this?
Yes. Randy, good to have you on the team. Appreciate you signing up with us. Look forward to
Remember,
working
you
with
asked for the job.
you. Number 18, request to adopt ordinance amending section 510 of the subdivision regulation requiring sewer cutoff valves for subdivisions not on city water per Alderman Brickson. Is there a motion? There's motion second. All in favor? Number 19, request to adopt a revision to code section 34.87, requiring a sewer cutoff valve for new developments not on city water per Alderman Brickson. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay. Good. And basically what that was is that's some work that Alderman Brickson did that is just making sure we're trying to be as efficient as we can, getting money from folks that are on our water system.
That's our
And
only
that's a-
recourse.
And yeah, and this isn't a silver bullet, but it's, hey, at least a sign, I guess, to other ratepayers that we're fighting to make sure if I'm paying and you're not, or you're paying and I'm not, there's no free lunches. Somebody's paying. So, Miss Ada, what you got for us? I'll let you take over the mayor's report.
Oh, nothing.
What?
Picture for
You were going to interrupt the first of the meeting. Oh, okay. You need some time with him before. No, okay.
Something else. I found out about today and I need to know today, because if I don't know today, I'll be lost.
On the mayor's report, the only thing I would say is to notify the alderman that we are still working through the process of the August 31st deadlines associated with NCWI. So obviously, a couple little hoops we've jumped through, nothing that we need to bring forward right now. So we'll open up some of those bids at some point and kind of do what we do. It got confusing enough. I just walked out of the room one day and said, y'all handle this to John and Melissa, but I think they're doing a good job trying to get in front of this and make sure we recoup every dollar we can get our hands on. But anyway, is there a motion to adjourn, and we will have a short work session afterwards? Got a motion? And all in favor? All righty.
I'm sure Mama's right.
Yeah, I'm with it. Yeah, I'm with it.